President Donald Trump confirms intent to ratify a free trade agreement with Japan in the coming weeks, a move bringing the U.S. animal food industry closer to the level of tariff treatment of CPTPP members. Joining us now is Gina Tumbarello with the American Feed Industry Association. Thanks for joining us, Gina. Talk about what a free trade agreement with Japan would mean for the industry.
Thank you. Well, first of all, it's important to point out that this first stage trade deal is on agricultural, industrial tariffs, and digital trade, which is a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the text or the tariff schedules yet, so we don't know what they look like, but we're hoping that this first stage deal does include tariff eliminations on the remaining handful of animal feed and pet food products, as the deal did between the U.S. and Japan under the original Trans-Pacific Partnership.
How big of a market is this for U.S. animal food industry?
Japan is our third largest export market with roughly $986 million in exports of U.S. animal feed ingredients, and pet food. So it's a fairly significant market for us, obviously. But because we pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and those remaining countries proceeded with which is known as the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, the U.S. animal food industry has been missing out on opportunities to expand into that region, as well as has been losing market share to competition. And Japan is a very prime example of that loss there.
So at this point, we have an agreement in principle. The president's announcement is a step in the positive direction. What are your hopes moving forward? What would you like to see, especially if we're able to make some significant progress going into the next couple weeks?
Well, obviously the first stage is this first stage deal and getting those tariffs reduced or eliminated. But more importantly, we're eager for subsequent bilateral discussions and agreements with Japan that cover other technical barriers to trade beyond these tariffs and cover issues as well as sanitary and phytosanitary issues. For example, Japan prohibits the importation of many processed animal proteins for use in animal foods. And these restrictions aren't based on science and not really in compliance with or in the spirit of the World Trade Organization's sanitary and phytosanitary chapter. So we would like to see those agreements down the road address those concerns, be an agreement that would allow us to hold Japan accountable to making regulatory and policy decisions that are based on science to allow our industry greater access to that market.
All right. American Feed Industry Association Director of International Policy and Trade, Gina Tumbarello, thank you so much for joining us today.